The story begins in Akron, Ohio, a city of smokestacks and quiet streets. It's a place where dreams are often small, practical things, tethered to the ground by the gravity of hard work and harder realities. But in a small house, a boy named LeBron Raymond James was dreaming big. His world was often uncertain. Life was a constant shuffle from one apartment to another. A tough hand dealt to his young mother, Gloria. She worked tirelessly, a quiet warrior fighting to give her son a chance, to shield him from the winds that blew so cold through their city. He saw her struggle, and he learned early about resilience. He learned that some things you have to fight for, some burdens you have to carry, some promises you have to keep. From this humble beginning, a fire was lit inside him. He saw the world not just as it was, but as it could be. He found his escape and his voice on the basketball court, on the cracked pavement of neighborhood parks and in the echoing quiet of school gyms. Life for a young LeBron James was a lesson in survival. Instability was a constant companion. He and his mother, Gloria, moved a dozen times before he was 10 years old. They stayed on friends' couches in spare rooms wherever they could find a temporary roof over their heads. School was a challenge when attendance was sporadic, when making new friends was a constant, painful cycle. The world outside their small, shifting circle was often harsh and unforgiving. These were the struggles that could easily break a child's spirit. But for LeBron, these hardships became the bedrock of his character. It was during these difficult years that community stepped in. Recognizing the turbulence in LeBron's life, Frank Walker opened his home. For a crucial period, the Walker family provided LeBron with the stability he craved. He had a room of his own. He had rules and routines. He had a chance to just be a kid, to focus on school, to focus on sports. This act of generosity was a turning point. It showed him the power of community, the importance of having a support system, the profound impact one person can have on another's life. The transition to high school meant a pivotal choice. LeBron and his friends decided to attend St. Vincent St. Mary, a predominantly white private school, a world away from their own neighborhoods. They wanted to stick together. They wanted the best competition. Almost overnight, this small Catholic school in Akron became the center of the basketball universe. The spotlight found LeBron, and it was blinding. What started as local buzz quickly grew into a national phenomenon. Sports Illustrated put him on the cover, the chosen one. He was just a boy, not yet old enough to vote, being hailed as the heir to Michael Jordan, the savior of basketball. Every move, on and off the court, was scrutinized. His games were broadcast on national pay-per-view. His team traveled in custom buses. The hype machine was in full force, threatening to consume him before he could begin. Yet, through it all, LeBron remained remarkably grounded. He leaned on his mother, his friends, his coach Drew Joyce II, a father figure. He found solace in practice, the familiar rhythm of the dribble, simply playing the game he loved. The 2003 NBA draft was less a competition and more a coronation. Everyone knew who the first pick would be. When the Cleveland Cavaliers won the draft lottery, it felt like destiny. The kid from Akron was coming home. On draft night, when NBA Commissioner David Stern announced his name, a wave of pure joy washed over the entire state of Ohio. It was more than just a team drafting a talented player. It was a city, scarred by decades of sporting disappointment, pinning all its hopes and dreams on the broad shoulders of a single 18-year-old. From his very first game, it was clear that LeBron James was different. He wasn't a typical rookie, tentative and overwhelmed. He scored 25 points in his debut. The Cavaliers, long a struggling franchise, were suddenly the hottest ticket in the league. The arena was sold out every night. The city was alive with a newfound energy. He was not just a player, economic engine, a cultural force. The early years in Cleveland were a whirlwind of spectacular highlights and steady growth. He won the Rookie of the Year award. In 2007, he delivered one of the most iconic performances in playoff history, scoring 29 of his team's final 30 points, and to lead the Cavaliers to their first ever NBA Finals. But with great power came great responsibility and an even greater weight of expectation. The summer of 2010 was a seismic event in the sports world. A free agent for the first time, LeBron James held the fate of several franchises in his hands. The speculation reached a fever pitch. He announced his choice on a nationally televised special called The Decision. "I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat." He was leaving Cleveland to team up with fellow superstar Dwyane Wade, Chris Bosh. The three formed a new Big Three with the explicit goal of winning championships. The backlash was immediate and brutal. The team's owner wrote a scathing open letter, calling it a cowardly betrayal. Nationally, he was cast as the villain. The pressure culminated in the 2011 NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. The Heat, heavily favored, crumbled on the big stage. LeBron seemed passive and uncertain, shrinking from the moment. But that failure became a crucible. It forced LeBron to look inward and reevaluate his game and mindset. He returned a different player, more focused, more determined, more dominant. The following season he led the Heat back to the finals and captured his first NBA championship. Relief and joy were palpable. He won another title the next year, validating the move and silencing critics. He had gone to Miami to learn how to win, and in the process he had become a champion. In a heartfelt essay titled, "I'm Coming Home," he announced his return to the Cavaliers. Cleveland welcomed him back with open arms. The return felt like a Hollywood script. The king was back to reclaim his throne. The Cavaliers assembled a new Big Three. The journey had bumps. The team struggled with chemistry. The team struggled with injuries. LeBron, now a seasoned leader, guided them. LeBron faced the Warriors virtually alone. He played superhumanly, but it wasn't enough. The 2016 NBA Finals. This was a juggernaut, winning a record 73 games led by the league's first ever unanimous MVP. The Warriors held a commanding 3-1 series lead. No team in finals history had ever come back, but LeBron James would not let it die. He told his team to just get him one more game. In Game 5, on the road, LeBron scored 41 points. Kyrie Irving scored 41 points. In Game 6, back in Cleveland, 41 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. Game 7 was tense, dramatic, unforgettable. Andre Iguodala streaks down the court, but out of nowhere, LeBron pinned it against the backboard. Slow motion wide angle. The block. Moments later, Kyrie hit a clutch three that gave Cleveland the lead for good. The final seconds ticked away, and the buzzer sounded. LeBron collapsed, overcome with emotion, shouting, "Cleveland, this is for you!" He had delivered on his promise, ending a 52-year title drought. In 2018, he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. The move to Hollywood was about more than basketball, to expand his legacy, build his business, tell stories. As the years go by, and the records continue to fall, the conversation around LeBron James inevitably turns to the question of legacy. The numbers are staggering: MVP awards, championships, the NBA's all-time leading scorer record. The debates will rage on. Was he better than Jordan? Where does he rank on the Mount Rushmore of basketball? But to measure his legacy in points and rings alone is to miss the larger picture. I Promise School in Akron. A public school built to give at-risk children the resources he once lacked. An unwavering commitment to speak out against injustice, champion voting rights, demand accountability. His journey is a masterclass in evolution, from silent prodigy to wise elder statesman. He made public mistakes and learned from them, faced criticism and grew stronger. He showed a generation they could be businessmen, activists, philanthropists, storytellers. He empowered them to own their brands, control their destinies, be more than an athlete. His legacy lives in a banner in Cleveland and in the halls of the school he built in Akron. It echoes in conversations he started and doors he opened. The story of LeBron James is the ultimate American story. A boy from humble beginnings who, through talent, hard work, and an unshakable belief in himself, rose to become a king. Not just a king of the court, but a king in his community, a leader for his time.